What's up, YouTube? It's Team Money. Welcome to week 4 of the NFL predictions. It's been a long week since I've recorded a video. We have Jake here with us, and then for the first time this season in the NFL aspect, on camera, it's Elijah way over in the corner. How's it going, guys?
Not terrible.
Yeah, I'm not
Um, ex-
complaining.
except for the Vikings being 0-3, but you know,
Yeah, anyway.
Alrighty. So how about instead of us mourning over our losses because, well, you know how my game went. We actually are starting with that team. It's the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field. Jordan Love, you played like crap yet still won a football game. How? I'm not sure.
he played like crap in the
We-
first half. Second
Mhm.
half, he was different. He was a different player.
Yeah.
He had a complete reversal of what he did the week prior. But anyway, looking at the game really quick, pulling it up.
Green Bay. Oh, I'm jumping in here. Green Bay has rolled out some key starters. Um, for tomorrow's game. If my computer will load, I would be able to tell you.
I got you those. It's David Bakhtiari, Elgin Jenkins, Zane Anderson, and Devondre Campbell all ruled out. Yari Alexander, I think that's how you pronounce it, is still labeled as questionable. I would most likely rule him out because I don't know what his injury is. Elijah, do you know what his injury is?
Um,
By the way, it's Jair Alexander.
Jair Alexander, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing. I do not know what his injury is, but I can look.
All right.
And then Aaron Jones is questionable, so it's right. Running back one's questionable.
Aaron Jones is not, according to ESPN, he's not even on the injury report.
Well, according to Adam Schefter, five hours ago.
Okay.
So.
All right, and then looking at Detroit, we do have two ruled out. Halapulvati. I'm not even gonna try his name anymore. He's ruled out. He's a guard. Jason Caban. I am struggling with names today. Cabinda, fullback. He is ruled out. Kirby Joseph and Emmanuel Mosley are both labeled as questionable, and C.J. Gardner Johnson. Sorry. Ruled put on the IR. I doubt he starts this week. Should have stayed with the Saints. But anyway, looking at last week's game, the Lions coming off a 20-6 win, basically shutting down Bijan Robinson and the Atlanta Falcons at home, 20-6. And then the Packers. Yeah, the Packers.
I'll jump in for the Packers because you're gonna have a biased opinion because you're a Saints fan. First half obviously wasn't what they wanted, but second half they really played more as a team, and Jordan Love really showed out, and they really pick up a close win against the Saints. And what we knew it was going to be a close game, and it really delivered in that middle hours.
Elijah, I'll have you take the pick first here.
Well, Packers missing some key players, and on the road, I think Sam Laporta scores 2 touchdowns en route to a Lions victory.
Jake, what do you think?
Honestly, I mean, even like with what Elijah said, there were some of the injuries and stuff like that. This game is kind of a coin toss to me because it's at Lambeau. But with that said, as a Vikings fan, F the Packers, give me the Lions. Please, for the love of God, win the division, Lions. If the Vikings can't, please. So let's go Lions on this one.
I'm agree with all of you.
Yeah.
I I'm gonna yes, this is the biased Saints fan coming out when I say this. The Packers should not have won that game last week. With the whole, I'll touch brief on it, and then I'll get off of it really quickly. The momentum of that game changed was the instant Derek Carr got hurt.
Yep.
And because the offense for the Saints were clicking when Derek Carr was slinging that ball. He had a really good game, and then he goes down with the injury, and then that's when the entire momentum. I think the injury caused something in the entire sideline that it caused the entire breakdown. So
I mean, I'll second that. You know, Jameis Winston thrusting the action at Lambeau. And the crowd really fed off that, and it made it a tough environment. And the Packers really fed off the crowd. And
And like I say, last thing here, then we can move on to the next game. But I second Elijah. Playing in Lambeau is a difficult place to play regardless, let alone if you're a quarterback coming off the bench at any time other than the start of the game. I mean, Lambeau is a tough place to play, but thankfully the NFC North plays them twice a year there, so they have a little bit better of an advantage. But yeah, and then after the injury and all that stuff. So Lambeau's always tough regardless of who plays and when.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Elijah, really quick before we continue, you mind moving your mic a little bit? The breathing is coming through very heavily. Next up, we'll take a trip over the pond. The annual home game for the Jacksonville Jaguars in London as they welcome the Atlanta Falcons. As mentioned earlier, the Falcons. Yeah, you're the Falcons. Yeah, you were garbage against the Lions. I don't know. Bijan Robinson did not get going at all whatsoever. And the Lions basically shut down every form of offensive possession that the Falcons had, except for one. I don't know what it was. I think it was either 2 field goals or a touchdown and a mixed extra point. I don't care. Y'all didn't score more than 10 points that game. And then you look at the Jaguars. Y'all got ass kicked by the damn Texans. What the hell? 37-17 on your home turf. What the hell?
Well, the Falcons really struggled, obviously, on offense. Jack Campbell had his first career interception, so that's cool. But yeah, the Lions really did something schematically to be able to game plan for Bijan Robinson, and it worked. And I feel like the Falcons tried going back to that and back to him, and it just never worked. And the Lions were able to do something on defense where you don't normally see the Lions do. They were able to actually game plan, and it worked.
Jake, I'll have you take predictions first.
Well, I mean, honestly, this game is a coin toss again, just because, well, the Jaguars, everyone predicted them to be, the AFC. Basically, they were handed the AFC South at the beginning of the year, only to then get absolutely mollywomped by both the Chiefs, which obviously that's kind of to be expected. I mean, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs until they're no longer the Chiefs. Let's just put it that way. So
let me intervene on that really quick. It really wasn't a thwomping. It was only a 1-score game for against the Chiefs. So the Chiefs struggled against that game. We'll get to the Chiefs later.
Yeah, well, still though, like the Jaguars had opportunities, but yeah, regardless though. And then they get absolutely bull rushed by the Texans, who I will say, divisional rivalry, AFC South rivals. I mean, rivalry games are always tricky just because they're rivalry games. That's the teams that know you the best. So you can't always, but the fact that it happened at home in Jacksonville kind of concerns me. Granted, the Jaguars' second home is in London and all that stuff, but I don't know why. I don't have the greatest feeling about this, but I still feel like Atlanta can make some noise. Whether or not they actually turn into playoff success, that remains to be seen, but give me the Falcons in this one by a very close margin, and Yeah, I'd say the Falcons by a very close margin. And what's the line, Elijah? Do you know?
I believe
Line
Jacksonville's
is
3.
3.
3? Okay. Well, come back to me in a minute here because I might have this as an upset pick, but we'll wait and see how the rest of the lineup looks first.
For me, the Jaguars are coming off of an inexcusable loss to Houston, and the Falcons struggle on offense. Now, you know that crowd over there in London is going to be rowdy for the Jags, and I feel like Jacksonville is going to feed off that. Now, this is going to be a close game. I don't expect it to be a 2-3 score game. It's going to be a 1-score game, and it could come down to the last couple minutes in the fourth quarter. But I'm going to pick Jacksonville. I'm confident that Jacksonville's defense will be able to stop Bijan Robinson. So, for that reason and that reason only, I'm picking Jacksonville.
Elijah, give me the Jaguars too, because the Lions last week painted the absolute perfect game plan to take down Bijan Robinson, and Bijan's the only reason the Falcons are going to make noise this year. So if the Jaguars are going to bounce back heavily, and if I remember correctly, the Jaguars, since playing games in London, haven't lost, I think, more than 2 games. I don't even think they've lost at all in London. I don't know if any of you are going to be able to quote me on that, but I've not seen a Jaguars team lose in London since they started playing games in London. I think that trend's going to continue, especially with the perfect game plan that is going to take down Bijan Robinson. Give me Duval in this one.
You know what, Trevor? Lock this in as my upset for the Falcons then. I think this will be my upset.
Alrighty. So the Falcons as the upset pick of the week for Jake, and I need to remember to do mine because I didn't do one last week at all. I got to remember to do one. All right. Next up, Elijah, I'll have you start. I'll have you break this one down first.
Well, the Rams and the Colts. Anthony Richardson is out again this week after suffering an injury in week 1. And the Rams coming off of a Monday night loss to the Bengals. Well, I'm not really sure. I feel like this is going to be a snooze fest, if I'm being honest with you. The line's even, and the Colts are the home team. So this is going to be a close game, and I don't expect it to be a, high-scoring game. But give me the Colts because they are the home team, and the crowd's going to carry them to this win.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Elijah, bouncing off of that, so you said it's not going to be a high-scoring game. Did you see what the over/under is for that game?
47.
Yeah. They're not predicting this game to be that high scoring. So I think with this game, because I picked the Rams last week. Y'all see how that went. Oh, by the way, weekly records. Jake and Elijah had the best record last week at 10-6, and I went 8-8. Ouch. So looking to get a turnaround week this week. I don't know why. I'm not putting my faith in the Rams again. I'll take the 2-1 Colts at home. I like the quarterback that the Colts have. Actually, never mind. Wait, hold on.
It's Gardner Minshew.
Mm-hmm.
He played this.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Richardson's still injured.
I just said that.
I forgot about that.
I just said that 2 minutes ago.
And I forgot. If Richardson plays, then I want the Colts. But as of right now, Actually, if Richardson plays, the Colts win. Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But since it's Gardner Minshew this week, well, then again, Gardner Minshew, give me the Colts. Gardner Minshew has not turned the ball over at all this year so far in his starts. And Stafford has double the amount of interceptions as he does touchdowns. Give me the Colts at home. I am confident in this one. Actually, you know what? Make this my lock.
oh,
I'm making the Colts my lock. The only reason is because of that stat line that Gardner Minshew has over Matthew Stafford. Give me the Colts.
wow. I will say though, give me the Colts as well. Just for that reason, like what Elijah said, because they're the home team, and with the home crowd and all that stuff. So I'm not the most confident because honestly, like I say, both these teams are kind of mid to struggling to, obviously the Colts are, kind of, rebuilding and finding themselves again, and the Rams are, well, yikes. But yeah, give me the Colts because of the home field advantage and Gardner Minshew still being actually a really good quarterback and not having any turnovers, and Michael Pittman, and they still have enough weapons there to get it done.
Alrighty, so next game on the list is the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. In a game that is already have playoff implications early in the year. The only reason I say this is because this is an AFC North battle, and both these teams are 2-1, and they don't have the division standings on here because ESPN is a little garbage for that. I think the Ravens currently lead the division in the AFC North. Am I correct about that or no?
I don't think so because they lost last week. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland are tied for first in the division, 2-1.
Okay, so this game will decide who takes sole possession of first place in the AFC North, unless they do not. Okay, so yes, this game will decide the leader of the AFC North after week 4. The line is 3 for Cleveland, and then looking at the players that are out for this week, Cleveland has got only questionable. Actually, all players are questionable on both lists. In Rashad Bateman, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley, and Tyler Linderbaum for the Ravens. Greg Newsome II, Kareem Hunt, Deshaun Watson, their quarterback, questionable as well. Joel
Bitonio.
Thank you. And then Jerome Ford. All labeled as questionable as of the day we are recording this, which is September 27th.
I have a full injury report for both teams from today, from today's practice. The Browns have 9, and the Ravens have 11. That recurs Rashad Bateman, Odell, Humphrey, Linderbaum, and Williams. And the Browns, Cooper, Garrett, Newsome, Deshaun Watson. Obviously, Kareem Hunt is questionable as well. So this game's injury filled.
Yeah.
So this game is basically the line is actually 40.5. So this game is definitely not slated as high scoring this week, and it's understandable. I think with Lamar Jackson surprisingly still on the Ravens, I hope I'm not the only one that thinks that. With the Ravens having Lamar Jackson, give me the Ravens at home.
Go for it, Jake.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Alrighty. I mean, well, no, because the AFC North is a very tough division because who would have thought that the Bengals would be, at the bottom of the league and all that stuff. Granted, it's only week 4, but still, it. And like I say, not to mention all the injuries with the Ravens, but Lamar Jackson's still there. I mean, and it's a 3-point for the Browns, right?
Correct.
So, I don't know. Well, like I say, with Deshaun being questionable, that does kind of change things. It's just a matter of, do I trust Baltimore's weapons more? Or do I trust, Cleveland's weapons more with all the injuries and stuff like that? So, honestly, give me Baltimore. But again, I don't feel confident.
Trust me, I'm not
Um,
confident in the Ravens either.
we have our second difference. I'm going to pick the Browns because if Deshaun Watson plays, they still have most of their receiving core still available for use, as the Ravens are missing Odell and Rashad Bateman. That's going to be the difference in this game. Is going to be the passing attack in Cleveland. I think the Browns win, but they do not cover the 3-point spread currently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I say,
Alrighty.
these last, I'd say, 2 games have been literal coin tosses, in my opinion. Like,
They have. And then this next one is also a coin toss too. It's your guys' Minnesota Vikings as they take on the Panthers. A battle of the 0-3. So someone's got to end the losing streak this week. The Vikings. Well, do I even need to explain the Vikings anymore?
I'll do it.
Okay.
The Vikings, it could be very well 3-0. Turnovers in the first game, struggled in the second game. And then last week, had the ball, 25-yard line, 2 minutes left. 4th and 4, 5, I think it was 4th and goal, maybe. And Hawkinson just dropped the ball in the end zone. Now the Panthers, Adam Thielen really showed out last week in the loss to the Seahawks. Both teams are struggling, and this is one of 2 winless games in the NFL this week. But I think the Vikings save their season for now and pick up the win on the road.
Jake, since you're the other Vikings fan, I'll let you take this.
Alrighty, Vikes, wake up and get this done. Please. Just please, for the love of everything holy, get this done. You are way too talented to be at this point. You are way too skilled to be at this point. You have shot yourselves in the foot so many times. Hang on to the ball. Hawkinson, catch the ball. Kirk has been doing great. JJ is still JJ. Danielle Hunter is like top 5 in sacks. But of course, Vikings. God, if they don't get this done, I am going to rip my scalp open. Come on, fellas. Get it done. Get back to winning and go from there because there's still plenty of time in the season, but please, for the love of everything holy, get this done. Give me the Vikes.
Okay. I debated this game while I was playing my game today. The Vikings and the Panthers. Both teams are struggling hardcore. The Panthers are now on to their second string quarterback in Andy Dalton, who is now taking the reins as quarterback one. Kirk Cousins, he's Kirk Cousins. He's a regular season quarterback. We're not going to get that far into that, but he's a very good regular season quarterback, and that's where you guys are at right now. So you guys should be able to perform this week. Looking at the injury report for the Panthers, of the ones I can see, because apparently there's more because ESPN doesn't want to show the rest of them. Missing from or questionable from the Panthers is Miles Sanders, CJ Henderson, Chandler Zavala, Taylor Motton, and LeBrian Ray. Most of that, the first three are no. Most of them are defense, and only two of them are forward or off, are players on offense. Looking at the Vikings players, you're missing a center, a cornerback, a linebacker, actually two linebackers, and a safety of what I can see.
And most of the defensive players don't play. I will say that. So they're second and third string defensive players.
Mhm.
Okay. So Minnesota is a 4-point favorite, 4-point road favorite. And that is understandable because earlier, before we even start doing these predictions, I said the Panthers were not going to make that much noise this year. I said they were going to finish dead last in the NFC South. I'm still living up to that hype. I'm still following through with this. Give me you guys on the road. Give me the Vikings. And Minnesota, I'm going to throw out a forewarning. Oh, crap. Wrong button. Hold on. I'm going to throw out a forewarning. If you guys lose this week, I'm never picking you again. You guys have failed me for the past 3 weeks. You fail me a fourth, I am done picking you. Give me the Vikings, and you better freaking win.
Irish of Notre Dame. Sorry.
No, you're good. That was a very good intro.
To be fair, though, Trevor, the Vikings have literally been letting us down for 60 years. So, but anyway,
He's
that's
right.
for a different fucking day.
I did do the Irish intro because last year you were 1-8 picking Notre Dame, and so far you're 0-3 picking the Vikings.
But then again, so are both of you, so you can't really talk.
I picked the Eagles in week 2.
Oh, that's right,
As
you did.
did I.
That's right, you did. That's right, you both did. No, so then I'm with the same with you guys.
Yeah.
Because I did pick the Eagles that week too. Anyway, moving on. We have the 1-2, surprisingly, Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 1-2, not so surprisingly, Tennessee Titans. The Titans. Yeah, what happened? Y'all got smacked. 27-3 on the road in Cleveland, and then the Bengals. Well, y'all almost blew that game. Y'all had, what was it? It was what, 19-3 at one point?
7.
19-7, and the Rams almost crawled their way back and pulled off the win, but their defense finally stood to give the Bengals their first win of the year. With this game being in Nissan Stadium, it's a 2.5-point favorite actually for the Bengals. Actually, really quick before I even make my prediction here, I'm only seeing 2 players injured according to ESPN. Elijah, is that a true statement or?
I have a injury report according to a Cincinnati football article.
Alrighty. So the ones that I'm seeing
Joe Burrow is full. He practiced in full this week. Irv Smith Jr. he didn't participate today, and former Iowa Hawkeye and Purdue Boilermaker Charlie Jones didn't practice on Wednesday due to a thumb injury. Now for Tennessee, linebacker Luke Gifford, cornerback Elijah Molden, guard Peter Skorinski, and defensive tackle Taylor Tart. All of those players could be at risk of missing action Sunday. Traylon Burks, wide receiver, was limited. as for linebacker Harold Landry and tight end Josh Willie out with a knee and an illness, respectively.
And then what about Traylon Burks? As I on ESPN, I see that
Knee.
he's still labeled as questionable.
Knee. He's limited. He was limited on Wednesday.
Okay. Since he is the 2.5-point favorite, Jake, I'll let you start off predictions for this game.
Well, honestly, give me the Bengals here, because if the Bengals don't get momentum going here and they don't, keep, building off of what they did against the Rams, they're done. I mean, they're going to just be left out in the dust. And they still have Burrow. They still have Chase. They still have Mixon. They still have Trey Hendrickson on the D line. I mean, they still got weapons to get things done. It's just for whatever reason they couldn't. I mean, the Bengals just choked basically for a couple of weeks there. And now they really can't, because especially with those losses against the Ravens and the Browns,
Brown.
we're already 2 games back in the the AFC North, so they can ill afford to lose games until they replay their division opponents again. So, and for a team that had a lot of high hopes, like I say, this year is a big turning point for the Bengals, and plus the whole memes with Burrow and the $275 million contract and stuff like that. If the Bengals don't get it done against the Titans, they have some serious questions. So, rounding it out, give me the Bengals to continue their momentum.
I'm going to agree with Jake. I mean, he hits the nail on the head there. Bengals had some serious expectations coming into this season, and if they go 1-3, it's not looking too good.
This game is just like how for Jake here, for the first 2 games that we've picked, this game is a toss-up for me. Like, because I mean, looking at the Titans games this season, a 1-point loss to the Saints, which that game was entertaining to watch, even if you were a Titans fan. I mean, I applaud the Titans for putting up the effort. The overtime win over the Chargers, which they were able to figure out their team, and then all of a sudden that thought of figuring out their team got put into the shredder the following week. Or this might be a team where they go lose one, win one, lose one, and win one. Win one would probably be this week. Is Joe Burrow going to be playing this week?
Yes.
Do we know that he is playing this week? Give me the Bengals then. Give me the Bengals. I don't know why. I really don't. It's Joe Burrow. That's plain and simple. Alrighty. Wow. Really? Okay. This is the first time I've seen that line for this game. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints in an NFC South Division rival game. The Saints, as we mentioned earlier, they lost a heartbreaker in Lambeau Field. A injury to Derek Carr, like I mentioned earlier, totally derailed that whole team. And that basically ended up them blowing the 17-0 lead to lose to the Green Bay Packers. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, don't take offense to me when I say this, guys, but let's be honest. Who have the Buccaneers played that's been a legit team other than the Eagles? No one. So and then again, that's also kind of the same thing with the Saints here. The Saints are the Saints had no expectations this season, as far as I've heard from the media. I've got high expectations for my Saints this year. I think we at least make it back to the playoffs. Do I expect us to win the Super Bowl? Hell no. We're not that close yet. I think with where's the injury list? There it is. Yes, Derek
I
Carr
have one up.
questionable. Okay, go ahead.
I have one up that's going to be better than ESPN. Derek Carr, obviously Jordan Howden, Cesar Ruiz, Paulson Adebo, Foster Morris. They all didn't participate due to an injury. Jimmy Graham and Ryan Ramczyk didn't practice due to rest. For the Bucks, Carlton Davis had limited participation. Jamal Dean, Derek Pitts, Vita Vey, and Devin White all didn't practice due to injury.
Okay. Me being the Saints fan, I'll go ahead and take this one first. This one's going to be really interesting. The Saints are at home, so that gives them a little bit of a boost because with them at home, they play. When every team that plays at home, they play better. That's just common knowledge. I think the Saints being at home, I think they clip the Bucks, but the Saints don't cover that 0-3 spread. Give me the Saints just barely at home.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Alrighty. Well, the Bucks coming off of a shit show on Monday night. I mean, let's be real about it. Coming off a not so good game on Friday night or Monday night. They started off the season good with a win over the Vikings and they won the second game, but they lost last week, and now comes division play. The Saints without Derek Carr, and this will be the first full game without Derek Carr, and they didn't score with Jameis Winston at quarterback. I think the offense struggles, but I think so does the Bucks. Offense is going to be a low-scoring game, but since Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback, give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah, because that's why I wanted Elijah to go there too, because it was just like, do I trust Jameis Winston or do I trust Baker Mayfield? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's going to be a very close game because the Bucks and the Saints are always very close games. Like, I mean, even with Tom Brady going up against Jameis a couple of years ago, like Tom Brady literally getting blanked at home against the Saints. Granted, a little bit different teams and stuff like that. But again, it comes down to Jameis or Baker. So, I don't. You know what? Something's telling me Bucks. But again, just like most of the rest of the games here, I cannot explain why. I just think I trust Tampa Bay's weapons maybe a little bit more with Evans and Godwin versus Jameis Winston. However, though, I think if I remember it, Kamara comes back this week.
He does. I forgot about that.
Does
the return of Alvin Kamara, AK-41, returns to the lineup this week after his suspension.
With that said, though, I still will probably take the Bucks just because I feel like it might take a week or two for Kamara to get going again. And again, Baker versus Jameis, give me Baker, but just barely. Like I say, I could see this game being a 1 or 2 point either way. So,
and y'all know my opinion on Baker Mayfield because, well, of his one freaking shit show of a performance. It wasn't really much of a shit show. It was more of a disrespectful action towards the Kansas Jayhawks, but we're not going to get into that. All right, next up is the Dolphins and Bills. This one's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Let me find it really quick. There it is. So, the Dolphins. Who wants to be the one that dials 911 for the Denver Broncos being murdered in Miami? Am I the only one?
Yeah, that was something. I mean, Wow, that was the second,
Yeah.
like either tied for the second most points or literally the second most points in NFL history. First time
As
since
far as
1966, someone had
as
scored.
far as I know, what I've seen on an NFL YouTube video and from the NFL themselves, that was the most points in a single game by a single team.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, they
As-
were without Jalen Waddle. So, yeah, that was without Jalen Waddle.
Which, speaking of, let's get into that. Elijah, do you have the injury report for the Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills?
Well, he's off right now for a sec, taking care of some stuff. So,
Ew. Okay. So then I'll read off what I can. Out for the Dolphins.
up at Elijah's
Is
back.
that? Oh, there he is. All right. Elijah, can you read? You have an injury report for the Dolphins and Bills?
Give me 1 second.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, if my computer would load.
From
Alrighty.
what I've read, it's Teron Armstead, Deshaun Elliott, Salvon Ahmed, Durham Smith, and Eric Zukanama. I think is how you pronounce it for the Dolphins. But since you have the full report, I'll let you take this part.
Yeah, Teron Armstead, or Eric Zakma, Connor Williams, Jalen Phillips, River, Kirk Kraft, all with injury. Didn't play or didn't practice for the Dolphins. The full participants: Jalen Waddle's back, Eli Apple is back, and Julian Hill is back. For the Bills, 5 players sat out practice on Wednesday. Leonard Floyd, Micah Hyde, and Jordan Poyer, and Ryan Bates and Saron Neal didn't practice on Wednesday.
Alrighty. So, Elijah, I'll let you start the predictions for the Dolphins and the Bills.
Well, I think the Dolphins are one of, if not the best team in the NFL right now. This is going to be one hell of a game, and this could go either way. The Bills at home, they're obviously really good. They have one of the best, if not the best, home atmospheres in the NFL. But I think Dolphins go in to Buffalo and upset the Bills at home.
And that's his upset pick. Alrighty. Jake, go ahead.
Ooh. You know what? Give me the Dolphins on this one, but not as an upset pick, just as a normal pick. Because I agree with Elijah. It's like, I mean, Miami this year, I don't think I've seen, granted, I will say it is the Broncos, but the fact that, Miami has such a high-powered offense that can do so many different things, if Tua can stay healthy this year, plus that defense has actually stepped up tremendously over the last couple of seasons, there's just something about the Dolphins this year that screams dark horse, true AFC contender if they can all stay healthy. That's going to be the key, though, if Tua stays healthy. But for me, give me the Dolphins in this one. Even though I don't dislike the Bills, there's just something about this Dolphins team that just screams true contender and true, just basically true playoff contender, and maybe make some deep noise if they can stay healthy.
I want to point something out about the Dolphins, and this is from what I've heard from Tom Grossi. Everyone knows Tom Grossi, diehard Packer fan, but he's like one of the most beloved YouTube creators that's out there that covering the NFL. He just did a 30 and 30 stadiums in 30 days thing to raise money for charity for
St. Jude, I believe.
Thank you very much. St. Jude Children's Hospital. From what he has said, and I'm going to quote him when I said this, the Dolphins have been able to find a way to win games in multiple different ways. In week 1, they beat the Chargers through the air raid, as most people call that style. For New England, the complete opposite. Ground and pound. Ground game won them that game. Yes, their defense also helped out too. And then for the Denver game, that was literally a combination of both air raid and ground and pound. So if no one can figure out this Miami Dolphins team, you're looking at your possible Super Bowl champions in week 3.
Now that you said
week
something,
4,
it's not going to happen.
technically.
Now that you said something,
Now I
it's not
say
gonna happen.
something, the Dolphins are probably going to find a way to lose every single game from here on out. I don't see the Dolphins slowing down though, especially against the Bills. However, the Bills do know how to beat the Dolphins, especially in the last couple seasons. The last couple seasons, it's been split, and then prior to that, it's been the Bills sweeping the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins on the road here, and give me this as my upset. I love the fact that the Dolphins know how to win games in multiple fashion, in multiple different ways, and I think they're definitely gonna find a way to take down the Bills. It's gonna be one way or another. So yeah, Dolphins on the road here as an upset. Alrighty, I think that is the last of our noon games. Or do we have one more?
We're halfway through. We've picked 8 games. It's been 47 minutes.
Yeah, I know. All right, time to gun. I think we could gun. Actually, yeah, no, we can't gun through this one because we don't know who's gonna win. It's the Broncos and the Bears. Oh God. Oh, I'm gonna gun through this one. The Broncos coming off as mentioned, just like 30 seconds, like about a minute ago. Ouch. And then the Bears. Also, ouch. The two biggest losses of the week are playing against each other. And the only reason I'm picking this team is because, one, I have a friend who's a fan of this team, and my uncle's also a fan of this team. Give me the Broncos on the road.
Yeah, I'm just going to go along. Give me the Broncos because the Bears are even more of a you-know-what show than the Bears. Or, no, the Bears are more of a you-know-what show than the Broncos are. Yeah, just give me the Broncos here. I really have no good explanation. But
Elijah?
Looks like he's still having some audio issues or something or whatever.
Right. But he has his icon on the Broncos right now, but he'll pop in here in a second and we'll give his pick here.
Broncos.
Yep.
Broncos. Okay. All right. Next up, you have the Commanders and the Eagles. I think we can run through this one as well. I think all three of us.
Yeah.
I gotta pick the Eagles.
As much as I'd love to see the Commanders pull off the victory, it's the Eagles because that ground game is something lethal, and Jalen Hurts is still Jalen Hurts, even if they are a little bit different and stuff like that. Even though the Commanders did beat them last year, though, I think at home, ironically enough, to beat their unbeaten streak. But give me the Eagles in this one.
And I think we could run through this next one quickly as well. The Steelers and the Texans. My aunt's a Steelers fan, so I cannot. So if she killed me if I picked against her Steelers, so go Steelers.
Yeah, Texans got lucky last week. They don't do it again.
Yeah, give me Kenny Pickett in the Steelers. Steelers gone to Super Bowl.
Steelers gone to Super Bowl. Next up, there were the Raiders and the Android Chargers. Do we want to take our time on this one, or do we just want to all say Chargers and call it good?
Let's just say Chargers. At least for me here.
Chargers. Yep.
Yeah.
Chargers for me too. So I'll pick in the Los Angeles Android Chargers.
Hey, at least you
that's
said
quoting
Los
a YouTuber.
Angeles.
Fair point. Next up, the
Another easy one.
the Cardinals and the Niners. Yes, give us all the Cy-Hawk connection in Brock
And
Purdy
make this
and
my
George
lock,
Kittle.
Niners.
Lock of the week.
This is my lock as well. Yeah.
Yep, my lock as well.
All right, and then
Damn.
alrighty. Next game. This is Sunday night. Right? No.
Correct.
Yeah, one
Yep.
more
Sunday
for
night.
Sunday night.
No,
for
one
Sunday
more
night.
than Sunday night. Yep.
One more than Sunday night. The Patriots and the Cowboys. Let's take some time on this one. The Cowboys. How y'all feeling after that abysmal loss to the Cardinals? And then the Patriots. How did you guys do last week? Actually, I don't know. Y'all beat the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. How y'all feeling? This one might be a difference game. But then again, I don't know. Actually, this one's hard to pick because the Cowboys were proven that they're frauds.
Yeah.
And the Patriots, well, they're the Patriots. You can't, you don't want to pick them, but you gotta sometimes, right? Am I right?
Yeah. I don't know why, but give me the Cowboys in the bounce back just because I like the Cowboys' weapons more than the Patriots' weapons. Plus, with it being in Dallas, that's my reasoning for why I picked the Cowboys. Just because I still like the weapons, even if Trayvon Diggs is out for the year. But yeah, give me the Cowboys.
Give me the Cowboys too. I'm not a big fan of it, the pick, but I need some wins under my belt, and I'm pretty sure Elijah might be our difference on this game. I'm not sure, but he might pick the Patriots because of the frauds that the Cowboys are. I gotta add him back in. There he is.
That's my fault. My phone decided to be stupid. Cowboys.
Alrighty, so we all pick the Cowboys. This one is going to be an interesting game to pick though. You got the Chiefs
gonna be a
and the
shit show.
Jets.
It's gonna be a shit
It's gonna
show.
be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's
Give me the
Um,
Chiefs.
but here's the question. No. Here's the real question. And actually, this will probably be the prediction of the week. Is Taylor Swift going to be at the game?
Who gives a fucking shit? I'm sorry, but who cares?
Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's out. Or no, sorry, Zach Wilson's in quarterback. That's gone downhill for the Chiefs or the Jets.
All right. And Jake, I assume the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yep.
All right. This final game of the weekend, Monday Night Football, and the line is even. It is the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Football Giants.
Well, I'm gonna put, if you don't mind me picking first here, because I really gotta go and take care of something here. But I will say, give me the Seahawks in this one. But go ahead and give your preamble.
This game is even, straight up, and this game, I don't even know what I was getting. Oh, this is the second time that we've had back-to-back primetime games at MetLife Stadium this season. Because we had the Giants host the Cowboys week 1, and then the following night the Jets hosted the Bills.
The Giants have struggled, and I don't see that changing. Give me the Seahawks.
I like this. I like both teams here. It's really tough to pick because, well, they're both quarterbacks are struggling. Looking at Geno Smith, I haven't touched at all for any of these quarterbacks. I'm going to touch it on Geno Smith. He's 71 and 103, and Daniel Jones is 63 and 97. So both quarterbacks have struggled this year. So basically, it's going to come down to who's going to run the ball better. I like Kenneth Walker. Give me the Seahawks. I don't even know which color palette you did. It's a little bit darker green. That's fine.
I got you.
All right, guys. That's gonna wrap it up for the predictions this week. For NFL, you will see the college video go up the next day after you see this one go live. But guys, we're having fun doing this. It's actually gotten closer. It's getting closer and closer every week.
Oh yeah.
And who knows?
And the NFL is probably one of the most unpredictable leagues there is out there. The NFL, like it's so unpredictable, and that's why I love it.
Yeah. Elijah, any final words?
Yeah. I will say, Jake, the amount of losses you have in 3 weeks of the NFL is the same amount of losses you've had in 4 weeks of college football. Sorry, 5 weeks. We picked week 0, didn't we? So 5 weeks of college football. So just put that in perspective there.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's scary to think about. But guys, thank you guys for tuning in for another week of NFL predictions. We'll see you tomorrow for the college football video. And until then, see you guys later. Have a great night.